once again. Welcome to another reading. So today we will be using this wonderful deck by Alana Fairchild. It's called the Sacred Rebels Oracle. Look at that. Beautiful illustration, no? So today we will be drawing 3 cards from this deck, and we will also create 3 piles, with 3 cards each. The first card that we will draw will represent your current awakening, no? And then the next card will represent the energy that supports your awakening. Wow, these are big cards. I can hardly fit them in my hands. And then the third card that we will be drawing is how to nurture this awakening. Yeah. So 3 cards, 3 piles, and we will mark 3 piles with the crystals that we have here at hand. Okay. We will draw the first card for each pile. And that is what energy represents your awakening. That is the first card. Yeah. First card for the first pile, first card for the second pile, and then first card for the third pile. Okay. And then we'll draw the second card. Oops. Okay. We'll draw the second card for each pile, and the second card represents what energy is supporting your awakening. What energy supports your awakening? Yeah. And then the third card represents how you can nurture this awakening. How to nurture this awakening, or the supporting energy that allows you to awaken. Okay. So this is pile number 1, and we'll use, I think this is an amethyst crystal to represent the first pile. Pile number 2, we'll use this black and white egg-like crystal. And for pile number 3, we'll use this pink and gray crystal. So you can pause this video and see which pile is calling out to you, right? You can take long, deep breaths at your own pace. And when you feel centered and grounded, you can choose from the 3 piles, or you can choose from the 3 different crystals that we are using here. And I will post timestamps below on the description box so you can go straight into your reading. Okay? I'll see you there. This is the reading for pile number 1, or the leftmost pile, or the pile that is marked by this amethyst crystal. Okay? Welcome to your reading. Let's start. So the first card represents your awakening. The next card represents the energy that supports that awakening. And the last card represents how to nurture and continue this awakening. Okay? Okay, let's start. Wow, these cards are very evocative. So what is awakening in you right now? Look at this. It says here, faith in the process. It feels like a very vulnerable time. And there's small details there It says here, she's on a wagon that says faith. Can you see it? It's very faint. It says here faith. So it feels like what is awakening within you is trust, right? There are matters of trust. Also, you are being asked to grow your trust and faith in the process or in the unfolding. Not to hurry or not to try to control all the details, no? So the awakening has something to do with that, allowing you to open your hands to the possibility and not to control, allowing you not to control situations, no, but allowing things to unfold in its own time with softness, not with force. That is beautiful, not very easy. What is supporting this awakening? So you have just gone through, probably, you have probably just gone through trying times or a significant challenge where you saw that there are some things that are truly beyond your control. And there are some things that should just be allowed to evolve and change and reveal itself, no, in a more natural rhythm. And sometimes, no matter what we do or say or think or force, it will not expedite the process, or it will not force a lasting solution to arrive. So it feels like what's supporting it is actually experience, lived experience. Beautiful, because it feels very grounded. It's not just it's not just in theory, but it's through a lived experience that you're beginning to have more faith, right? In the process, faith in the unfolding, faith in perfect timing, you know? And then how to nurture this awakening and allow it to continue. Look at this, which makes sense. It says here, restore and replenish, right? It looks like a woman in fetal position and allowing nature, elements of nature, to nourish her, you know? And so it feels like you can only continue to trust, have faith in the process, have patience in the process, if you are in a state of balance, right? Because when you are in a state of agitation or high emotions, you are most likely to make decisions that are premature and immature, right? And so you're being asked to be sure that you are not working yourself ragged, so that you can always come from a place of neutrality. No? When you're well rested, you can think more clearly, you can see more clearly, you can decide with a clear head, clear mind, without the screen of emotion, right? Or the screen of judgment, or the screen of other elements. So it's beautiful. What is awakening and unfolding within you is faith and trust. And that is because of lived experience, no? That sometimes allowing the process to unfold is the best thing. To not do anything is sometimes the best thing, you know? And to always be reminded by that, to always act, you know, in a place of remembering the truth that you have learned, is to be sure that you are replenished, well rested, no? So you can come from a place of clarity. That's That's it. Be sure to like if this reading resonated with you, and also be sure to subscribe so you can be alerted when the next reading drops. Okay? Bye. Hi. If you pick pile number 2, or the middle pile, or the pile marked by this egg-like crystal, this is your reading. Welcome to your reading. So like we said, the first card represents your awakening. Wow. The illustration of this deck is just next level. So this card represents your awakening. The second card represents the energy that supports this awakening. And then the third and the last card is how to nurture or continue this awakening process. Okay, look at that. All the women depicted here, the depiction is very intimate, right? Like they're almost like in your face. Okay, so the awakening that you are going through right now. Beautiful. You are realizing that there's more to you than meets the eye, more to you than what you yourself have expected or have known yourself to be. The first thing that comes to mind here is like body and soul, right? Or the physical and the spirit. It feels to me like you are awakening to the fact that there's a part of you that is absolutely eternal, a part of you that may experience things, or maybe have had things happen to you, but also a part of you that will never be damaged or touched or affected by the things that are happening in the physical world. You know? And that is your spirit, your soul. This awakening also feels like this realization, it feels, because it's such an expansive way to look at yourself, no? To look at yourself. It also expands your ability to receive insights, inspiration, blessings. And it feels like you are in the flow of things, you know, because of this awakening. You can see that there's light on her forehead. You know, I'm sure it's light coming from the background, but it lights her third eye chakra, which is intuition, which is connection to the divine, connection to the sacred. Wow, it feels like a true spiritual awakening, actually. Wow, look at that. And even though it feels like you are immersed in your surrounding, you are part of your surroundings very intimately. There's also something about you that cannot be reduced by it. There's a part of you that remains like above it. You know? Beautiful. The second card is what is supporting. It represents what supports this awakening. Wow. This makes sense when we were saying about the lighting of the third eye, the shining of the intuition center. Because it feels here like what supports this awakening is listening to your own truth, right? Because it feels like what she's listening to, what this card depicts, is a woman listening to the sounds of the sea within the shell. So it's not the actual sound of the sea, but it's a deeper, right? It's like a deeper sound, a deeper resonance. So for me, this feels like what supports this, the continuation of this awakening, or the enriching. Oh, and yeah, to enrich this awakening is to keep listening to your intuition, right? Keep listening within, not to shut out the outside world completely, but not allow what is happening around you to inform how you should act, what you should say, how you should decide, not the direction that you go to. It is asking you to listen to yourself, listen to your own truth, listen to how you feel, no? Reconnect with your intuition, because that is your connection with soul. That is your connection with your higher self, or your guides, or God, whatever you call the divine or the sacred. To support your awakening, to allow it to keep happening, is to really go within. Go within. And then how to keep nurturing it. This supports it. I think you already do this in a way, no? But this is what keeps supporting it, meaning keep doing this. In a way, this inner listening, however you do it, if you spend time in meditation, if you spend time journaling, if you spend time like channeling, if you use oracle cards, right, to connect with something greater than you, no, that is, whatever way you do it, that is the best way. If that feels to you that you are connecting to your intuition or something higher than you, then keep doing that. Keep doing that. It could be walking in nature. For some people, they feel connected when they're running, right? Or taking a walk. Keep doing it. And then how to nurture all these. Wow, look at that. How to nurture. You know, this beautiful. Look at this. It says here, releasing allegiances. And you know, you can see like bees. Bees are very like faithful creatures, right? They stick with their queen bee to the death. But in this card, you're being asked to, you know, we are born into a society, we are born into a education system, we are born with a set cultural beliefs, we are born into priorities, we are born into a religion with set beliefs. To hear the truth of your soul more clearly, in a way, you have to kind of release all the conditioning, all the set beliefs, not just to release, perhaps to question if they still apply to you at this time in your life, with all the experiences that you have had, all the awakening that you have experienced. No, if it still applies to you, if it feels true still for you, not to just accept it as is, but to question yourself if you still resonate with with those beliefs that were true for you probably before, once in, or in the first, in your younger years. But now that you have grown and you have experienced life, and because the world is also changing, evolving, and also opening up, no? travel, ease of travel, accessibility of travel has allowed every one of us to see that we are all different on the surface, but we have a shared humanity. You know, we, in the deepest level, we are very, very similar. And see, while holding that, the truth of that experience, see which truths are negotiable, which are non-negotiable, and which truths feel like they are ready to be released because they do not belong to who you are right now anymore and do not reflect your beliefs anymore at this time. It is easier said than done, because in a way it feels like when you do that, you are extracting yourself from systems or communities that allowed you to feel like you belonged, the security that you believed in something that everyone else believed in, no? But now it feels like you are strong enough to stand in your own beliefs, to stand in your own truth, no? No matter what the outside world says, right? And to keep nurturing that is to keep questioning whether your old beliefs still feels true for you or not. Spiritual awakenings are not easy. And sometimes they can be lonely. Sometimes they can be isolating. But you will find your tribe. When you're true to yourself, you will find your people. So not to worry about that. So if this reading resonated with you, be sure to like this video as well as subscribe so you can be alerted when the next reading drops. Okay? I'll see you then. Bye. If you pick pile number 3 or the rightmost pile, or if you picked this pink and gray crystal, this is your reading. Welcome. Okay, so like we said, the first card will represent your awakening. The second card represents the energy that supports this awakening. And the third card represents how you can nurture this awakening. Okay? So let's see, what is awakening within you? My gosh, look at this. This feels like this reading, this specific pile is for someone who is awakened to not just their own spiritual beliefs, but also their spiritual gifts. No, it feels like you know that you have, or you're beginning to realize that you do have spiritual gifts. It could be all sorts of abilities. You could be like you might be able to intuitively read cards to see deeper meanings within words and visuals. You might be able to see energy around people. You might be able to do hands-on healing, or your prayers actually work, right? You could probably feel like you're receiving messages. You don't have any idea where it's coming from, but it feels like you are awakening to that mystical aspect of your soul, right? And so spiritual gifts are awakening within you, which don't worry, it is a sign of the times. Increasingly, more and more people are awakening to their spiritual gifts. There is something in the air, something that is happening in the energy of these days that is allowing people to access their spiritual gifts or psychic abilities, if that's what you want to call them. And anyone who has spiritual gifts or psychic abilities, they are called like mystics or seers because they can see beyond, right? They can see in the dark, no? They have access to spirit realm, no, in their own way. Um, it, it, it comes out differently. Um, and there is a variety of spiritual gifts. Okay. So the second card represents the energy that supports this awakening. Ah, it feels like, yes, you are awakening, but I don't think, it doesn't feel like it's by accident that you just suddenly tripped into your abilities. It feels like there was something in you that kind of knew or felt that there was something there to be explored, that there were gifts there to be explored. And it feels like you have taken steps, literally. You have taken steps to discover and nurture. This is not just coming into light, it could be also coming into maturity, no? Because of the steps that you've taken. Maybe you have a mentor, maybe you've taken classes and workshops, maybe you expose yourself more to people with similar gifts. It could be being around these people who have same abilities as you, or even just watching people like on YouTube who have similar spiritual gifts. And so, yes, it feels like it's an active, um, not active awakening. It is, you are actively um, taking, you're actively walking towards that goal of awakening and developing your gifts. And so you were proactive about it. Yes, there you go. You were very proactive about it. And you've probably tried to study um, like masters, no, of your craft or your gifts. Beautiful. So your proactiveness, if that's what we can call it, um, really helps. Really helps in allowing your gifts to mature. No? And let's see how to nurture this. And to the end, the worthwhile. You really are. Look at this. These are very similar cards, right? But this card, it still feels like very organic, right? Although it feels very old soul already, but it feels very organic. All the elements are they're identifiable. They're living things, and they are like they're animal, spirit animal energies that are infusing the wisdom of this person. So the second card, I said what I said because it feels like she's she's creating, she's really creating marks, you know, and taking very positive steps despite being shoeless, despite being in the wet, in the rain. It's a very conscious effort, no? The third card, which represents how to nurture it, this feels very um, how do we call this? it feels like it's etched in stone already. It feels like it's been here forever, right? There's something here that has been, that has already calcified, no? That it's not just the truth. It feels like it's been the truth for a long time. So it feels like how to nurture what is happening, what you are awakening into, not only to continue what you've been doing, no, um, but also to stand, begin to stand in your power, no. And what do I say? What do I mean when I say stand in your power? Um, I don't mean to tell everybody, right? But when you do say who you are and what you are, what you can do, to say it with pride, no, because it's both inherited and hard earned, no. To keep nurturing it, you also have to truly own it, right? And how do you own it? You practice it. No, it's, I feel like it's one step above learning, right? You need to practice it. You need to be proud of it. Um, and if there's a fearless quality or a fearlessness that I'm feeling when I look at this card, it's asking you to be brave, right? It feels like to nurture it, you have to be proud of it. You have to be brave in expressing it. Although the owl here, the symbolism of the owl here, it feels like it's telling us, it's telling you also to be mindful. Yes, be proud about it. Yes, practice what you are beginning to master. No, but also choose very wisely your battles. No, there are some people for whom this work and this world, it's not really for them. No, not to force your way into that, but connect and give and share with the people who are connected with your work, are connected with what you do, no, are connected with the wisdom that is arising from your gifts. Okay, that's it. If this resonated with you, if this reading helps you, I hope you hit the like button. And if you are not yet subscribed, please do subscribe so you can be alerted when the next reading drops. Okay? See you then.